Life is not binary. Did I strike a chord with that title? Does the word binary spark something in you? For the reptilian or caveman part of our minds, it's easy to think that black and white, or right and wrong, or good and bad, or one or the other. But if you look at life, what is truly binary? Everyone's experience is unique to their lived experience, which is only experienced by them. We can empathize with someone, and even as empaths, we can feel into someone's experience. But we can never truly understand someone's viewpoint because we can never experience life as them. For as humans, we can only experience from our lived experience, which can only happen to us, individually. Our DNA, our inherited experience, our lived experience, our past lives experience. We can have similar experiences and understand pain, as pain is pain is pain, which allows us to empathize, but we will never know what that person truly sees. I know that the word experience is used a lot, but there are 7.5 billion people in the world. That's a lot of different experiences. No two are ever the same. With that, life is not binary. With over 7.5 billion people on the planet, there are 7.5 billion perspectives. What is good for you might not be good for me, but that does not mean that your good is not good. Even the concept of good or bad, which may be what may be perceived as bad, may have taught you a lesson that makes your life better. So in turn, it can be perceived as something good. There is an episode of Queer Eye on Netflix where a man got shot and became paralyzed from the waist down. He ends up reconnecting with the man who shot him and ended up thanking him. His life changed for the better after he got shot. He thanked the man for helping change his life around. You could think that getting shot was a bad thing, which I'm sure he thought of when it first happened, and in those days he was bedridden. But his perspective changed. He realized he had to be better for his daughter and got into health and fitness. He went from running the streets to running and founding a nonprofit called Disabled But Not Really, where he helps people with disabilities live with a limitless mindset and provide them the space to be adaptive athletes. You could make the argument that there are things in life that are binary. You're either a man or a woman, but actually, we're not. Each of us is born with the possibility of being either. And at some point, you could actually change how you feel or how you identify. I highly recommend listening to this Radiolab podcast series about gonads, specifically the episode about chromosomes, which dispels the idea that X equals girl and Y equals boy. It provides science to how people may identify as non-binary from a cellular level. As mentioned before, our cells are constantly changing over, and we are not the same person physically we were last year or even 5 minutes ago. Your taste buds change, your viewpoints on life may change. It doesn't mean you were wrong before, it's just different. Is something ever fully yes or no, or can there be some leeway? There's a theory I learned in high school, in physics of all classes, that about 85% of the population is actually bisexual, or maybe even pansexual. Put in the right place at the right time with the right person, you could be attracted to someone that you normally wouldn't be attracted to gender-wise. Again, there's nothing right or wrong with this. Maybe the percentage might be wrong, but it is just what it is. As I was chatting with people about different community initiatives to support next year from an organizational perspective, it was interesting to hear how people are of the I don't want to mix politics and sports camp in regards to the Black Lives Matter movement, and players taking moments of silence or wearing shirts that simply say Black Lives Matter. Some of these players are Black. It is not political for them. It's life for them. The statement alone is saying that their lives matter, that it's not better or more than others, just that they matter. What if we took the time to hear someone's experience or perspective to try to get an understanding of where they're coming from, taking yourself and your views out of the equation? Simply listen to their experience. If something lights up within you, why? Where does that come from? I'd recommend to go back to last week's blog and try the 7 whys exercise and see where that disruption is coming from in your past. This made me think of why people don't want to admit that they're racist. With binary thinking, we assume that if we're racist, then we must be bad people. On the contrary, on some level, we're all racist. We all have learned behaviors or ideologies that may have been learned that are stemmed in racist behavior or perspective. If you deny the racism or feelings of another, that may seem more hateful and more quote-unquote bad than if one were to own up to the racism and make change. Bruce Lee said, "Mistakes are always forgivable if one has the courage to admit them." But, alas, change requires people to step outside of their comfort zone, the courage to feel discomfort. So much of our society is based on the concept of being comfortable, being able to keep your home at a certain temperature level, being able to stay in your home and order literally anything you want to your doorstep within minutes. But growth doesn't happen inside of our comfort zone. So what if racists aren't bad people? They're racist. If they continue to be racist, it doesn't necessarily make them a bad person either. Are they fearful? Probably. Weak? One could argue so. Stagnant? Yes. What can we do? Continue to step outside of our own comfort zones. Continue to do our own healing work. Continue to hope that they find the path to their own healing. Continue to hope that they find ways to let growth take place. Trevor Hall has a song called "You Can't Rush Your Healing," and it's true for our own as well as others. We may have found such healing through certain practices or modalities, but we can't force those onto people, especially the ones that we love or don't love. And we can't force people to heal when you're healing. They will heal when they're ready or choose to. You can't rush them. Your lived experiences are different. All you can do is do your work, live your life, step out of your comfort zone, focus on your healing, and hope that one day they do the same. Don Miguel Ruiz, author of The 4 Agreements and Mastery of Love, amongst many other books, says that to love someone is to empower them, not to worry about them. Love them enough to know that one day when they're ready, they'll do their healing work too, but you can't rush them. Life happens in spirals, not a line. For each growth moment, we spiral up. For steps back, that's okay. Something just needs to be learned. We might stay on that spiral. In a circle, there is no one or the other. It's a spectrum, continuous, just like all parts of life. We thought that by making things binary, it would make life easier, putting ourselves in boxes. But it seems to have made life more harmful and hateful. So what if we lived on a spectrum, in a circle, and non-binary was the new norm? Would that create more peace? Food for thought.